welcome to Tracy Momi Reads. I don't know why I put these books over here in the corner because inevitably they always fall. Today I'm going to be reviewing a book called Verity by Colleen Hoover. This one I got from Kindle Unlimited. So I'm doing the trial thing. I've done it before, like the Kindle Unlimited, and for as much as I read a lot of like physical, tangible books. So I didn't feel like I was really getting my money's worth. But I guess even if I read 1 or 2 books a month, that kind of pays maybe for the subscription. So we'll see this time around if I'm able to read more books. Yeah, so Verity by Colleen Hoover. Get my handy dandy notes over here, y'all. I really enjoyed this one. I live in Houston, and when I downloaded this particular book, we were kind of in the middle of, well, the beginnings of the winter storm that happened a couple of weeks ago. And there wasn't much that you could do. You know, our lights were going in and out, and we were all kind of huddled in one room. So this was a book that I read like in 24 hours. I read it during the storm, and it was a good break from, you know, reality and everything that was going on. First of all, this book started off hella graphic. Like the first line of the book, I mean, I don't know where I thought this book was going. This is the first line of this book. I hear the crack of his skull before the spattering of blood reaches me. Huh? What? And then, like, it goes on to say, like, in the last paragraph, you know, this guy he walked into the street and got hit by a car, and it's like a line here that says, I closed my eyes before his head went under the tire, but I heard it pop like the cork of a champagne bottle. Yeah, so very graphic within the first paragraph. I don't know where I thought this book was going, but, you know, given the blurb, you know, I was like, it seemed like it was off. So that was kind of just like a random mention, I guess, just to kind of suck you in, which it did. So this book, the character that witnesses this horrific thing, she's a writer, and she's kind of almost, you know, at the end of her financial rope. And the day that she's standing at a crosswalk getting ready to go to a meeting with like her agent, and when this whole accident happens and she gets blood on her, and this guy ends up, you know, taking her over to this restaurant so that she can get cleaned up. He helps her out or whatever. And fast forward maybe, I don't know, a few pages in, when she gets to her meeting, he's like the man that's there with her and her agent that she's meeting with, because he's married to a famous author named Verity. Verity, let me see, I can't remember their last name. But anyway, Verity is an author as well, but she was recently in an accident that has kind of left her incapacitated. So she has like a series of books, and her publishing company, like, she has a contract, like they want her, like, the last 2 books to be finished. So they want, you know, this woman here, the main character, Lowen is her name. They want Lowen to finish her books, right? Because apparently they have a similar writing style. So they're going to kind of introduce her as a co-author with Verity. And Verity's husband, Jeremy, who helped Lowen, you know, with the whole incident after the man was hit, he's in the meeting, and, you know, it's just weird that he would have been the same man that helped her. But Lowen is very low-key. She doesn't want the limelight. She doesn't want all the popularity, but she needs the money. And Jeremy, you know, he makes it an offer basically she can't refuse. He's going to pay her a lot of money. So after Lowen agrees, which is perfect timing because she's getting kicked out of her apartment because she hasn't paid the rent. So anyway, after she gets kicked out of her apartment, Jeremy invites her to come to, you know, his home where he and Verity live, to go through her files, get a feel for how she wrote, you know, take back manuscripts or whatever she needs, you know, back to New York with her, so that, you know, she can kind of wrap her arms around finishing up, you know, these books. Well, in her digging, Lowen finds that Verity has started a memoir, has started to write her autobiography. And it's real shocking. The things that she admits to, the things that she says, and Lowen's so entranced by it, she can't really, do what she came there to do because she's just like so fixated on these words that she's reading about Verity's life. And therein is the meat of the story, right? Because outwardly, what has happened is Jeremy and Verity, were madly in love at one point. They had twin girls who both died, like not even at birth. Like I want to say these kids were maybe anywhere from 8 to 12, and they died within months of each other, right? Just freak accident, both of them. So they lost two daughters, two separate times, totally unrelated after they, were like headed towards puberty, and they do have a son who's like 5 or 6 when the story starts. But anyway, so that's, the family dynamic there with the girls and the boy. The girls die. This family has bad luck, or is it karma? As the reader, it's like 2 stories in one, because as Lowen is going through Verity's memoir, you're just like, ooh, is she, because she comes across very calculating and diabolical and a lot of other not nice things when you're reading that story about her life. Because present day Verity is basically, she's not a vegetable, but she is like kind of unresponsive, like she's trapped inside of her brain, or her own mind rather. And you see this woman who's just helpless. Her husband's doting on her. They have this little boy, and it's so sad because his mom, is this way, and she can't really be a mother, and you feel sorry for her. But then when you're reading those pages with Lowen, it's kind of like, okay, she wasn't a nice person, right? But then the plot thickens because it appears maybe Verity is faking her injury, and she is very aware of what's going on. Okay. But while then the other part of that, so you got, Lowen's whole thing there to write the book. Then she finds a memoir. Then, the sadness with Verity and, her being incapacitated and, the family dynamics. Then over here, the next thing that's happening, so much is going on in this book. Jeremy, Verity's husband, who brought Lowen there, Lowen and Jeremy are like falling for each other. It's just this drama on all aspects. But it is very, it's a page turner or a scroller, because I had it on my Kindle. But it was really, really good, and you just keep going because you're like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Then at the end, the ending threw me because it brings into question whether or not the things that were in the manuscript were even true. I think they were. But the way that the author, she uses this mechanism where you're like kind of questioning, because if it's not true, then something tragic that happened should not have happened. But I think, I just wasn't buying the ending. I just wasn't buying it. I'm like, it was true, and that's all there was to it. But what I think would have been so good and just amped up the suspense level and brought in a creepiness factor, because Lowen was the only one that was thinking that Verity was faking, right? Because she felt like she would look at her and she would see her, or she would see her turn her head, or something would be missing, or little things that their son was saying about his mom. And there was this one time when she was on the couch with Jeremy, she swore that Lowen was at the top of the stairs. Stuff like that, but nobody else saw it, right? I think it would have been real creepy and really a good twist because there was a point where Lowen was left at the house alone. Like, you know, if this was true that Verity was faking, you know, let her make herself known to Lowen, because it's her word against hers. Because even when she went to Jeremy, he was like, "No, I saw the brain scans. She's not faking." You know, he really thought there was something wrong with Verity. So I think that would have just really been more of a psychological thing, because then it would have Lowen questioning her own sanity. Like, okay, am I seeing things with this woman like really moving around and doing this? Yeah, so, or it could have been a plot twist that maybe Jeremy wrote the memoir or the manuscript, you know, because maybe he had some of his own reasons or nefarious motives or whatever. I think those would have been better twists than what actually happened. But it didn't detract from the story. I personally don't like when, and I try not to do this as a writer. So when I see writers do it, I mean, you have this story that's just flowing and it's fluid and it's just like you're building. I mean, even at the climax and when it's coming down, I still feel like you have an obligation to the readers to give them some type of ending that's either going to, even if it's a cliffhanger, then hey, you're coming back because you have a sequel. But something that, you know, the majority of readers can find satisfying, even if they weren't ready for the book to be over, even if they thought it should have been somebody else or whatever. In this case, I just feel like that last little thing that was left behind, I don't feel like it was something that I ever questioned. So, no, I felt like she really wrote the book, wrote the memoir, and that she had done everything, all the dirty stuff that she said that she did. I feel like she actually did it, you know? So, anyway, yeah, I just wish we could have seen more of Verity's diabolical side. And maybe that was the thing. Maybe, you know, at the end, the author did that to let you know that she wasn't as diabolical as that manuscript, as that memoir was making her out to be, you know. But she admitted that she wrote it, but her reasoning for writing it and all that, I just did not buy it. So I really liked it, just didn't care for the ending. Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is one you should definitely add to your reading list. You won't regret it. So anyway, thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video. If you've read the book, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. You can leave me a comment below, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thanks.